Hello everyone, my name is Joji and I am recording this journal. This is my knitting journal. Today is Saturday, March 30th of 2019 and this is my 33rd entry to my journal. I hope that you're having a nice weekend. Today is Saturday and it's very nice over here. It's sunny. I'm inside and quite far from the window and I think that the light is still very good. It's been 2 weeks and a couple of days since I last recorded, and but somehow it feels that a lot happened, and at the same time I feel that my life has been slow and easy these past couple of weeks. I think that perhaps my plan for pacing down is working finally, and yeah, that makes me really happy. And I'm getting ready to go on a trip soon that I will tell you more about later, but everything's very okay. I'm drinking very heavy coffee because I need it in order to function as a human being around here. And yeah, so I hope you don't mind my sipping my coffee every now and then. I have a few things to show you that I've been working on this week. I have one finished object since I last recorded, but it's not my dress is bothering me. It's not being blocked because I haven't been to our summer house yet and I have all my blocking materials there, so I haven't blocked this finished object, and you will hate me, but I haven't blocked yet any of my mother's finished objects either. Sorry, Mom, but I will do it at the end of April someday. Anyway, this is my finished Ziggy shawl that I have been working on for the past few journals. I finished it, I think that the day after last journal was recorded. I'm sorry if I already showed this as a finished object. I was trying to think whether I had shown it, but I think I only showed the socks as a finished object. So here it is, the Ziggy shawl. It's being test knit at the moment. And I used 2 skeins of Olan fine sock in the Ghost Rider colorway. And they were kind of different in the skeins, so I alternated skeins here. And I think you can't tell that, unless now that I told you, now you're looking at it probably thinking, oh yeah, it's darker. But I bet that when you first saw it, you didn't think it was darker. I really enjoyed working on that shawl. It grew very quickly. I don't know, it happens with shawls a lot that I think, oh, this shawl's going to take forever. And then I just sit down and watch TV, or I've been listening to some audiobooks, and so I just sit down and do something else, and suddenly these shawls just are finished, just like that. So that's my Ziggy shawl, and I have something very special to show you as a finished object. Paola doesn't know that I already received this, but I wanted to record before telling her a big thank you. So the story goes like this. If you remember, a couple of journals ago, I told you that I had lost my Odyssey shawl while traveling in Italy, And Paola, she's a local knitter from Buenos Aires, and she was watching the journal, and she immediately texted me and said, "Oh no, I can't believe you lost it. That's a very special shawl." And it turns out that she had made one, and she sent me her own Odyssey shawl for me to have via my friend Ale, and I received this yesterday. Because she wanted me to have one. So this is Paola's finished Odyssey shawl, and thank you, Paola. I really, really love it, and it's very special that you can part with some of your precious knitting to gift to me. I haven't, as I told you, I haven't talked to Paola about it. I haven't told her that I already received it. But so I don't know what yarns she used, but they are really gorgeous. And I don't think I have knit a blue shawl lately, so this one makes me very, very happy. It goes very well with my dress, so thank you. I love it. I will wear it with great pride because sometimes when I design something, I feel a bit embarrassed wearing my own hand knits because I feel like a walking advertisement, and I don't really want people to think that I'm wearing that because I'm just promoting my stuff or I want other people to knit my stuff. So I feel very self-conscious actually wearing my designs, and it doesn't mean that I don't like them or that I wouldn't wear them. I only knit things that I would wear, but I don't know, it feels like not very humble of you to walk, you know. It's complicated. I know it's my own issue, but it happens to me. But these I can wear so proud because I designed it, and I can tell the story of how someone who was working from one of my patterns, she decided to give it to me, and it's something that really makes me proud in a good way, not in an arrogant way. So Paola, I'm going to take this shawl with me to my next trip this week, and it's going to be my company. So thank you so much. I really love it, and as I said, I can't believe that you can part with it. So so those are my two finished objects. One was knit by me and the other one was knit by Paola. And I have a few new works in progress. I have an older work in progress that I'm going to show you first. So this is my farm twist jacket. It's in my Sandy by the Lakeside project bag. I love that it's big enough to hold all the 6 skeins that this sweater is taking. And yeah, so this is my farm twist jacket that I've been working on for the last months. And now I have moved on. I have leveled up in my jacket. So what I did is I finished all the facings. So I finished the neckband. I made all the buttonholes, as you can see here and here. And I made 2 row buttonholes, and I made them 4 stitches wide, but then they were too big for the buttons that I used. So instead of frogging the band and like doing it again, because I really didn't want to do that. I really didn't want to do that. What I did is I sewed them and reinforced them on both ends, and I'm going to rewrite the instructions. I already did instead, write the instructions for a 3-stitch buttonhole, but I still think that the resulting buttonholes are not steady enough. So in the pattern, I'm going to suggest that once you finish, you go and reinforce both ends of the buttonhole so that it has a bit more structure. I haven't done it with this one because it was part of a different band, and you can see how it's more open. So I think that that's something that I would do to my garment. So I'm just going to write the instructions for a regular buttonhole, and then I'm going to suggest that you go back and reinforce those. So why did I block the jacket before proceeding with the sleeves? I did that because, as you can see, hold on, this sleeve is a bit bulky and the sleeves are not yet blocked. As you can see, the jacket has a very drop shoulder. It has a very drop shoulder like that, with a diagonal line here. So I really wanted to see where the sleeve started on my body to determine what size and how long I wanted my sleeves to be. Because I thought I won't know for sure how wide my jacket's going to be until these cables relax, you know. So I wanted the cables to have the final drape and size, and now I can start my sleeves like that. Sorry, this is a really awful frame, but you can get the idea. Sorry, sometimes my camera stops recording. So it's going to be buttoned here, like that. The neckband turned out really nice. I'm very pleased. I was kind of scared because of the shaping, but it turned out great. And I really like the shoulder. And the sleeves are just cables. They don't have all the lace and the bubbles. They have the same cable repeat. And these should stretch a bit. They look kind of tight like that, but these should stretch because they are not blocked like the rest of the sweater is blocked. And yeah, I really like the fit. I really like that it's boxy and cropped, but not super cropped, not like under the bust cropped, because I really like the cropped style, but my tummy gets very cold sometimes. Some other times it doesn't. I really didn't want all this work to be something that you can only wear when it's not that cold. Okay, so the yarn that I'm using for this jacket is Farm Twist by Madeline Tosh. It's a DK weight yarn. It can be substituted with any DK, and the colorway is called Pavement. The other work in progress that I made a bit of progress on is my blanket that I spoke about on my last journal. I did a lot of progress that weekend after I recorded, but then I started new projects, and so I'm trying to not dedicate a lot of time to my blanket so that I can work actually on new patterns. But I'm very excited with the way it's turning out, and I heard that some of you are starting a blanket using this idea, especially Kay from the Bakery Bears. She wrote to me and told me she was really inspired by this idea, and she picked a lot of pink and lilac fingering weight yarn from her stash, and she's making her own version, which made me super happy. So maybe by the time I finish mine, if I can take a photo, I can upload a small recipe with the measurements and the sizes that I'm making my blanket, so that if you want some directions or instructions, you can follow them. But it's really easy. What I'm doing is I'm holding 3 strands of fingering weight together, and I picked all shades of gray and black and speckled yarns, and I'm using 6.5 millimeter needles, and I cast on 96 stitches, but you could cast on different number. What I'm going to do is I'm going to knit 2 of these bands, and then I'm going to sew them together vertically with mattress stitch, just very simple. Yeah, so that's that. I'm really happy with the way it's looking. I have to tell you that a couple of times as I was making progress on this blanket, I thought, I could still turn this into a jacket or a cardigan or a garment of some sort. But then I thought, no, I really want to make a blanket. Don't make this work. Don't turn this into work. So I'm trying not to turn this into work, but yeah, so that's my blanket growing there. My next project is living currently in a new bag that I wanted to show you. These are a new adventure that I'm embarking on together with a good friend of mine, Sylvie. Sylvie is well, she's actually an architect, and she has a small company on the side that specializes in, well, they make women's clothes and small leather accessories and small leather goods, and we decided to try and make one accessory for knitters. So Sylvia and I designed this bag according to a lot of the things that I really like, or a lot of things that I wanted to have for a knitting bag. So our bags, they are not still for sale because I'm testing the bags. So I'm not going to tell you everything about them, but my favorite part is that it has a handle that you can either position like this, and these ones, well, they are all quite new, so they are still a bit hard. So you can carry it and knit and walk, or knit while standing up. And also sometimes the bags, if they have a very big handle, it kind of bothers me that it looks asymmetrical that way. Like sometimes I want something that looks a bit more sleek, so it has a handle that you can readjust like that. So now the handle becomes part of the design of the bag, and it doesn't poke out all the time. And they are all made with Argentine leather. This is suede, and it smells really, really nice. And what else? It has a zipper, and it's I'm not going to show you everything, because then I will have to explain that they won't be available until the end of April. And that's because I have never sold anything that I haven't tried. Like when I put my patterns up for sale, they have been tested by people, so I know that the pattern won't bring a lot of problems. So I really wanted to try the bags and make sure that I know how they work, and just make sure that we've tried them before we send them out to the world. But I'm really, really enjoying my little bag. I kept the only one that had a little stain on the outside, so this was the only one that had something unique about it, but we cannot sell this one, so this is the one that I'm keeping for myself. And yes, so my work in progress is a new cowl design that I started last week. Let's see, it's a bit tangled. Just one moment. Okay, So it's a 2-color cowl in garter stitch, and as you can see, here's the beginning of the row. And I say row because I'm not doing a knit row and a purl row. I'm just knitting back and forth. So it's all knitting, and then joining the first and the last stitch of every row, so that it's like knitting flat, but you're actually working in the, you're actually joining it in the round with every row. So it's 2 colors. Here's a provisional cast on because I'm going to work on the edging when I'm done. And I'm adding some fun eyelet details. So I'm using 2 skeins of fingering weight. This is Finos by Manos del Uruguay in rose water. And this is Clara. This is the new yarn by Manos that I showed you a couple of times. But I have lost the tag for this one, so I don't remember the colorway name. I'm going to have to ask my friend Ceci what's the name. So, but they work super, like they are kind of the same yarn. This one is 100% merino, and this is a merino and silk blend, but they look exactly the same. So yeah, I'm just going to keep repeating this sequence. I'm going to make it quite wide, and it's going to have a fun edging on both ends. So this is one of the projects that I'm taking with me on the trip. The bag holds a 2 skein project with a lot of room to spare, as you can see here. And if I added a 3rd skein like that, then you would still be able to close it quite comfortably. So I'm pretty confident to say this is a 3 skein bag. One could add a 4th skein and still zip it, but I have to say I would be very scared that the teeth of the zipper could get stuck in the yarn, but still 4 skeins fit comfortably. So it could be a smaller sweater project, but I would say it's more like a shawl wrap, big shawl, big wrap size. And the other thing I really like is, one thing that I usually do with my project bags is, if I'm carrying like a purse, let's suppose this is my fancy purse, or a backpack, sometimes I like to attach my knitting to my, like a lot of people do, right? You attach your knitting bag to your main purse. So because the handle is detachable, then you can do that really easily, and it becomes part of your purse. Yes, so I'm very proud of these little bags. I am very excited about this new business that I have with my friend Sylvie, and I will have to say that these are locally sourced, so all the materials come from Argentina, and Sylvie doesn't handmade these herself, but she works with a very small workshop here in Buenos Aires, where a very small group of women actually make the bags, and they are of course specialized in leather working and bag making, and they can only produce a very tiny amount. So for the moment at least, we won't be able to mass produce these. So we will have a very limited amount when we put them up for sale, but hopefully we will have enough for anyone who wants to try one of our BA bags. And well, that's all I have to say now about that project. And yes, so the next work in progress is test knit that I started yesterday. So I started testing a new pattern for my friend Heli. She's Heli on Ravelry, and she's Heli Rayavara on Instagram, and she's a very old friend of mine from Finland. And these socks are called Windy Nights, and I am using this beautiful blue face Leicester tough sock by La Bien-Aimée, and the colorway is called Fiori, flowers. And yeah, it has a little, it's a cable, but it forms these little circles, and I'm making the size large because I think that the yarn she uses is a bit heavier than the one I'm using, so I want to make sure that this will fit my feet. And yeah, so that's it. I'm using 2.25 millimeter needles. These are Chiago needles, and they are not my favorite. I know they are most people's favorite, but they are not my favorite because they are super sharp. I'm just such a sad person that I keep stabbing my fingers all the time. My favorite are Haya sock needles because they are definitely not this sharp. But my needle, my 2.25, got a bit chipped on the tip, so I cannot use those anymore. So these are the only ones that I have left for sock knitting. So I'll just take them. I have no problems. I can actually knit with whatever. But if I am going to buy my favorite materials, then my favorites are the Hayas. And the last work in progress is a new sweater that I'm working on using this yarn. This is yarn ink, and the colorway is called, the yarn is called Classic Decay, and the colorway is called Pebble. Classic Decay is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. I really like the colorway. So this yarn I bought when I went to Knit City in Vancouver last year. And I have been thinking lately that I was a bit sad because I brought so many beautiful yarns from Canada last year when I visited, and I hadn't been able to really play with them. So I'm trying to do that because I remember being super excited and having lots of ideas when I brought them home, when I bought them. But then I came home and life was a bit too stressful at the time, and I just put them in a shelf and never really remembered that I had those yarns there. So I'm happy now to be working with that. So this is going to be a tunic, and I'm replicating a sweater that I bought, a ready-made sweater that I bought in Italy, and it was a boxy shape but tunic length, and it was really comfortable and it had pockets on the front. So I'm just going to do that. It's a really easy sweater. The only thing that I'm doing differently so that I have a lot more fun is I started on the shoulders like I usually do for this construction. So I started on the shoulders for the back and I knitted down until the armhole. And then for the front, what I did is I picked up stitches for one shoulder, then I cast on all the front neck stitches, and then I picked up stitches for the other shoulder, and then I worked some short rows here for the neck shaping. So instead of casting on new stitches and then picking up and knitting that neckline, I just picked up all the stitches and I worked short rows to shape the neckline. So I'm aiming for the possibility of not having to do any neckband to this sweater, but I won't know for sure if it looks okay until I'm done with the sweater and I block it. So we'll see. It's a mystery. It's always a mystery. I'm using 4mm needles, and I'm going to do it on straights until I reach the armpit, and then I need to join the front and the back in the round, and I need to start working in the round, so I won't be able to keep it on straights for a lot longer. By that time, I'm hoping that, I hope that I will be done with that before leaving on my trip, so that I only bring my circulars with me and not the straight ones. And I have 6 skeins of this yarn, and it's eating up a lot of yarn. I have to say that it's taking more yarn for the upper half than I thought it would. So I'll have to see how long I can make this sweater, if I'll have enough to make it as the same length as the sweater that I have. And yes, so I said I'm making this as a travel knitting project that I plan to bring on a trip I'm going to be embarking on next week. So I will be working not 1 but 2 retreats in Portland, Maine, starting April 8. So April 8, I'm going to do the first Portland retreat, and I'm going to teach full days on the 9th and the 10th, and then the 11th, this first group checked out, and I welcome a second group in the same hotel, and I will teach full days the 12th and the 13th, and the 14th everyone checks out. It's the first time that I do 2 retreats back to back. The original retreat was from April 11 to 14. But then, because I won't be teaching a lot, this is my second to last teaching job. The organizers said, would you mind doing another round? Like, would it be okay if we had a second retreat just before that? So I wasn't sure. I know I'm going to be exhausted, but I knew that it would give me the opportunity to teach 2 more people. So I said, yes, I'll do that. And I took the second job just before the first one. So that is not next week, but the other one. So those 2 retreats start next Monday. And because I'm going to be away, so far away from my family, I thought I should better make sure that I also save some time to do some traveling, some personal time. So I decided to come early, mainly because the reason why I picked Portland, Maine to visit and to work there is because my good and old friend Maggie lives there, and I've been thinking of visiting Maggie for, without exaggerating, maybe 8 years. And I've been everywhere, and I've never been to Maggie's place. We've met in other places, but I've never been to her hometown. So I thought, yes, when the organizers asked me where would you like to teach? I said, well, is Portland, Maine a possibility? And they said, yes, we could work it out. And that's how it all happened in Portland, Maine. So I'm coming early to meet my friend Maggie. And I'm also going to be meeting my friends Miyoko, Carson, and Vera, who I have traveled with before a few times. And we're also going to be meeting my old friend Mary Jane Macklestone. Mary Jane and I are very old friends. We met here in Argentina when she was on a teaching trip. And we are going to do a road trip to Montreal from Portland, Maine. And we're going to get to know the French, Canadian areas. And yeah, I'm really excited. I'm going to be the driver, and I'm going to drive us on a road trip to Montreal. I am not going to be doing any work there, so I'm not going to do any meet and greets or anything like that. I'm just going to try to take some time to explore and get to know the city. And yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that time before work so that I can relax and get ready for a very intense week. So if you have good recommendations for places to eat in Montreal and things that we cannot miss, then I really appreciate it. I've been looking at the forecast, and it looks like it's still going to be cold, and there's even the chance of snow. So I'm going to make sure that I bring my warm layers, and I'm going to make sure that everyone's bundled up. And yes, so that's going to be my trip. And turns out that I'm going to be away from home for a whole 2 weeks. So when I come home, I'm going to be really, really homesick. I will try to do an interview with one or more of the people I meet while I'm there, mostly because this is going to be one of the last opportunities where I'll be meeting how do you say it in English? Meeting personalities, or like meeting famous people. But famous sounds a bit vain. Like important people of the knitting scene. I will soon stop traveling, so I will soon stop meeting all these people. So I will try to take an opportunity to chat with some of them and bring an interview or two to the journal. And yes, so I'm kind of scared of leaving home again. I'm really enjoying my time here. I would love to travel with my family, not alone. Yes, I would. It would be perfect if my family could come with me to Portland. And it's going to be my birthday when I'm there. And I know I'm going to be super sad without them. But yeah, so changing subject, but not really. I am also excited to come to Portland because I have a few things waiting for me there that I've been anxiously waiting for. One of them is I have some yarn waiting from Barnyard Knits, and I have never tried her yarn before, and she sent a few skeins for me and Mom, and I'm looking forward to that and getting to know her yarn and maybe working with it soon. And the other thing that I'm really excited about is I ordered one bag from my friend Nu from Hide and Hammer in the UK. She makes these awesome, really, really awesome handmade project bags that have this industrial look. And I already talked about Hide and Hammer before. I have purchased one of her purses, and she also sent me beautiful leather accessories for my sewing. So I'm really excited to get and review that. And yes, I bought some new clothes that I'm really excited about. So I'm really actually excited to go to Portland because it feels like I will have all these presents waiting for me there. And yeah, it's going to be really good. And especially visiting my friend Maggie. I really love my friend Maggie. So I think that is all for this week's journal. I won't be recording before leaving to Portland, so perhaps I will be able to upload an episode while I'm there. Otherwise, I will talk to you all when I come home. Thank you for watching. Bye.